back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, and thank you so much for watching this 3-part series of my very long conception, pregnancy, and delivery story. I just really believe that it is going to reveal the glory of God, and it is going to help anyone who might be going through what I have been through. So it is another story time. This is the last one. Well, I'll be wrapping up everything that actually took place. So let us get into it. All right, so in the previous videos, I told you guys about how I conceived and then found out I had fibroids, and then had to actually go through a process of these fibroids coming out while I was pregnant. So guys, after seeing that the fibroids are coming out, but it is so painful and so unbearable, it was actually very traumatic. I'm going to tell you guys one other story that happened. I was actually at home by myself and, you know, doing what I do. I'm pregnant and I probably was editing, shooting something, whatever. And so what happened was, while I was sitting there at home, I thought, no, I need to go to the shop because I needed to buy a few things. So I took a walk to the shop. Literally, the shop, guys, is 5 minutes away from home. Took a walk. While I was walking to the shop, I got to the shop, everything was fine, did my shopping. Then I just heard the Holy Spirit like say, go to the toilet. And I was like, okay. Guys, I didn't even sit on the toilet seat and a big clot just came out. Like, guys, it was so big that when I looked in the toilet, I couldn't see it. I just saw blood, but I couldn't see the actual clot because I think it just disappeared into the toilet. I know, guys, this is very graphic, but this is literally what happened. And, you know, I had probably had pain the day before, but when I went to the shop, I had no pain. So, fine, I'm going through this, you know, moment when I'm just like, oh, Jesus, I actually can't take this anymore. Because imagine when you're pregnant, the minute you feel something coming out of you like that, of that magnitude, that big, you're just thinking if it's your baby or what's happening. So it started being a very traumatic thing that I just didn't want to go through it anymore. I just thought, hey, me and my husband did pray for them to come out. Maybe we should pray for them to disappear or dissolve, because them coming out like this is traumatizing me and it's extremely painful. And so I remember just coming out of the bathroom and calling my husband and calling my mom and just being like, oh, ma, like this thing came out. And she's like, no, let's pray. And we prayed and she's like, no, I have peace. Don't worry, your baby is not going to come out. At that point, guys, because I was just going through so much, I just felt like, you know, this is a lot. If it's not the pain, it's the clots coming out. I'm not enjoying this process of being pregnant. And I thought it would be such a beautiful and glorious moment. I remember just walking and deciding to go and eat. I think I just ordered a very big burger somewhere at a restaurant. I sat there, I ate it, and I was in tears. I wonder what people thought, and I really didn't care at that point because I was being goa, guys. I was seeing flames. So I sat there and I ate, and I just remember crying to the Lord and just being like, Lord, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot. I feel like, yeah, I feel the pain, but the trauma of just having a big something come out of me every now and then when I'm just not aware, I can't take it anymore. I really can't. I said, Lord, you know what, can the fibroids dissolve rather? Because when they were coming out, I had to go to the hospital constantly, and it was just not an ideal situation at all. So I remember just leaving there, just being really down, guys. It was just a point in my pregnancy where I really didn't enjoy it. I was not happy. I was constantly in fear. And at that time, as a child of God, you know, the lines get really blurred because you're just like, Lord, why don't you help me out? Like, why don't you, you know, sorry, guys. Yeah, man, you know, sometimes as a child of God, like, it's all good and well. Like, we go through stuff, like, you know, we go through a lot, and, we're obviously meant to believe God. We're obviously meant to hold on to God's word and be positive and stuff, but it does get rough, you know, it does get hard. At that point, I think I was a little bit upset, and a little bit just sad, you know, to be like, when is the pain gonna end? When am I gonna enjoy this journey? Because guys, I couldn't sleep at all. I would face one way and the fibroids would protrude out of my body because of how big they were. Even when they were coming out, there was still a lot more, you know. Sure, guys, but the truth is, God is with you. Like, whenever you go through anything, He's with you. Even though, I don't know, man, it was hard, but He was with me. That's literally all I can say. But to wrap up the story, we kept going, and as we were going, I really wasn't comfortable with my gynae anymore. I don't know, I just had this sense that I need to get another gynae. And I remember just telling my husband that I'm going to pray for a gynae. So I had these confessions that I'd written down for my womb, for the process of the pregnancy. And I met an amazing girl who's now a very good friend of mine. She gave me a book called The Supernatural Childbirth. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And, you know, in the book, I'll literally leave a link down for you guys below if you want to download it. You know, if you're going through this or you want to see it, or you believe in God for a child in the future, I think it'll be good to start reading that book. I love that book so much because, you know, the lady speaks about building your faith to believe God for a supernatural childbirth. And so I already knew that the odds were against me. So I really needed God to step in the situation. So I ended up praying and asking God, Lord, please send me a gynae. I need a gynae that's going to help me in this process, you know. And I began to pray and I believed God. And I remember just asking a wonderful lady from my mom and dad's church, who then sent me to a gynae, a Christian lady at Park Lane Hospital. Her name is Dr. Ledrawa. I love her to bits, guys. She is a little bit of a more elderly woman. You know, she's like a mom. Literally, she's like my mom. And so it was really nice to be with her. She was so much more gentle and positive. The minute I got into her practice, guys, we spoke, and when we left, she literally gave us confessions to confess over the baby, over the womb, even the fibroids. You know, she kept telling us we can speak. These things are trespassing in your body, so we're going to believe God for them not to be in the way. She believed God with me for a natural birth. She was so positive, guys. It was amazing. It was such a pump up for my faith. It's exactly what I needed. And God was just so faithful. Pregnancy journey continued as I kept going to the gynae. I think on the second visit, we needed to do what you call a fetal anomaly scan. They count the child's fingers in the scan. They check if they have legs, hands, you know, and all that stuff. So when we went that day, we first went to the gynae, then she sent us to the doctor that does this. We get to this doctor, and mind you, the journey of the pregnancy is getting a little bit better at this point. Even though I'm having a bit of discomfort, it's not as bad. Feeling a little bit better in my body. My faith is growing, you know. And now I'm just believing God for a natural birth and just a healthy baby, because now the fibroids didn't seem to be a problem anymore. When we get to the fetal anomaly scan, guys, the devil will try you. So fine, we go to a fetal anomaly scan with another doctor who specializes in this. And when we get there on that day, she was not happy. She was a bit spicy. I think she had actually closed the practice, but we were the last people, so she just gave us the opportunity to do it. But we were like a few minutes late. We hadn't made an appointment for that day. My gynae just sent us to her because she said at this time in the pregnancy you need to have done it. But because we were moved from one gynae to another, you know, we had to do other stuff now late. I hope you guys understand. So we get to the fetal anomaly and she asks us if we want to know the sex. We're like, no. She's super spicy, guys. Then she starts to check the limbs of the baby, everything. And then she says, what is this? Yo, oh my gosh, like you have a lot of fibroids. And I'm like, okay. Because in my mind, we were believing God that they've come out. So I'm thinking there must be less fibroids in my body. If not none, you know. She starts counting them. She starts counting the fibroids, guys. She gets up to 8 or 9 and then she says, sister, the way the fibroids are so many, I'm not counting anymore. Like, I refuse to count these fibroids. My child keeps farting. Okay. You know, I'm not counting these fibroids anymore. There are too many. She didn't even want to measure the fibroids because she was supposed to measure my child's limbs and anything else that she sees, you know, in my stomach and write it down, you know. She was not having it. Then she starts saying to me, guys, like, why didn't you find out that you had, how come you didn't know you had fibroids? Why didn't you take them out before you got pregnant? And then she says to me, you know that the doctors won't even be able to see this child with, when they do the scans with so many fibroids in your stomach. What are you going to do? How come you have so many fibroids? Well, I'm not counting them anymore. I'm not even going to measure them. I was like, ma'am, if there's anyone that's broken me today, you have broken my spirit, guys. My spirit was so low. I was like, wow. I was like, can someone be that brutal? I walked out of that practice and I was trying to hold my head up so high so that my tears just don't come out. The minute I got to the passage, I broke down. I was here. Obviously, my emotions are very tender at that time of being pregnant. You know, my hormones are all over the place. But again, I thought I'd built up my faith, you know, to a point where I'm chilled. God has healed me. God has restored me. I'm fine. To just finding out that actually, no, ma'am, you have more fibroids than when you actually started. I was devastated, and she was hurting me because the fibroids actually hurt. So as I was laying on the bed, she was pressing me because she was like, she can't see the baby properly because of the fibroids are so many. She was literally pressing that scan on side to side on top just to see the baby and to actually try and measure the child's head and the child's heart and all that stuff. And that was a very hard time because I thought, wow, Lord, I thought you were healing me, that fibroids are coming out. But now I hear there's more than what I thought. And so I thought, did the first gynae maybe not tell me how many there actually were? So yeah, guys, that was rough. Anyway, fast forward, you know, the pregnancy continues and everything is fine, to be honest. And I started reading the supernatural childbirth book, and I started believing God. And then what happened was, from 6 months, the Lord told me to start a prayer group. And my friends came on the prayer group and they prayed with me every Wednesday for the baby. We prayed against a variety of stuff that the Lord told us about, even stuff including his future and his destiny, which was just so amazing. And I was just so grateful to God for my friends. Shout out, guys. You know who you are. I love you guys so much. I cannot imagine how I would have gone through all of this without you guys standing in the gap for me. Thank you to my parents and everybody else who was praying for me, who was not necessarily in this group. And so, to be honest, moving closer to the time where I was giving birth, my faith was really was better, you know, and I was believing God for a natural childbirth. I'm gonna fast forward the story so that we could end. But on my 9th month appointment, I went to the gynae on a Monday, and when I got there, you know, she did some tests on me. So what they do is, I don't remember what the test is called, where they strap you up, they check the heartbeat of the baby and if there's any contractions, you know. And so they realized that I'm having quite close contractions. Guys, no, first I must just go back a little bit. What I believed God for, I actually wrote on a list, right? I wrote that, Lord, I don't want to be in so much pain when I give birth, because I've already been through pain with the fibroids. Please, Lord, I want a very peaceful, you know, childbirth, which are some of the promises, you know, that I read in the book, Supernatural Childbirth. She says, you don't have to go through that much pain. She explains contractions according to the revelation that God gave her. And, you know, she actually says, set up your faith a while before for what you want your childbirth experience to look like. And so I did that. And I asked God, like, Lord, I don't want a long birth, like hours and hours in labor. And I asked the Lord, can I not bleed profusely and, you know, have low blood and have to have blood transfusions? Because I also had an iron problem, iron deficiency problem. And my hemoglobin was quite low. And I believed God for, you know, a healthy baby and a good recovery. And so what happened then was, when I went to check on Monday, you know, my doctor was like, wow, you actually been having, your contractions are very close together. And I could feel the contractions, but they were not as painful. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The previous nights before, or the week before my actual birth, I actually had these contractions. They were like I could feel that, no, this means someone is coming into this world. But it was not such severe pain that I hear people talk about, and I'm really thankful because I believed God for that. And then, so then she said, you know what, we're going to have to go in for a C-section. And so, what the lady speaks about in the book is that when you believe God for something, you must hold on more to the will of God than to what you're believing Him for, which is really important because I really wanted a natural birth because I wanted to heal quick. I didn't want trouble. I didn't want drama. And so, but when she said C-section, she's just saying, you're not dilating at all, but your contractions are close together and child's heartbeat is being affected. And I thought, let's pray and then we'll see what decision to make. So me and my husband prayed. She left the room, came back, and we're like, okay, let's go for it. And on that day at around 5 p.m., we went in for surgery to do a C-section, which was fine. There was a lot of questions in my mind about like, wow, how were they prepared so quickly for me to have a C-section? Was it always her plan for me to have a C-section? I know a C-section is more expensive. But I just thought, Lord, we prayed for your will for such a long time. It's okay. Fast forward, my beautiful, handsome son is actually very pretty boy, was born that day, and it was just a beautiful, glorious moment. I didn't know that I'm gonna still be sick, so sick that the doctor didn't even know what was wrong with me. So I ended up staying in hospital for 7 days. Whereas, my friend actually was pregnant with me at the same time. We were in the same hospital, same gynae. It was crazy. She left maybe 3 days in. I literally took 7 days. And I was quite fed up actually because I just didn't know what was wrong with me and nobody was really communicating why I'm staying that long. But I could tell that I was really sick. I had diarrhea, I was vomiting, I was dizzy, and I had extreme pain, extreme pain. And I guess they sent me to a couple of scans to make sure if everything was fine. And I don't even remember if I got reports from that scan because I was always drunk off medication. But finally, I left the hospital, went home, and the recovery was hard. But as I wrap up this, video, I just want to say to you guys that what I learned in the process of this whole pregnancy is that pain doesn't mean God is absent. And, when God gives you a promise, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy for that process, or it's going to be easy for the manifestation of what is being promised to come to fruition. And that if in the absence of pain, then God can't show himself to be a healer. God can't, be there for you. And I'm not saying that we need to experience pain and drama for God to be in our lives or for him to show himself, but there's something that pain does to you and your relationship with God. It makes you so aware of him, aware of his presence, so humble. I was watching yesterday Lerato Macheta and my brother Lerato Macheta and Petula Macheta. They were talking about their beautiful daughter and how they are honored. They are honored to have a daughter who is literally showing them miraculous work of God, and changing their lives and perspectives about God. And I want to say that I feel the same. I feel the same in the sense that I am grateful that I went through a difficult pregnancy. It made me pray for other women. It made me believe God, that other women won't go through what I went through. It made me, believe God the more. Thank God for his presence. It made me just see that just because you're going through pain, it doesn't mean God is not with you. And so, yeah, guys, it was a crazy journey, but I'm so grateful. I'm healing really well. And, my husband is building a computer. And so whatever noises you hear, just know. Yeah. So yeah, guys. Anyway, that is the end of the video. I am doing really well. I'm healthy. I actually think the whole journey of being pregnant, conception, recovery, postpartum is a crazy one. I have learned to be patient. I have learned to believe God and wait upon Him for healing. I'm healed, guys. There's some point where I couldn't walk, during pregnancy and, after having the baby, when I was sick in hospital. And God is there throughout. When you are healed, He's there. When you're going through the pain, He's there. And I just want to say, man, if you believe in God, to conceive, hold on, to His word. Hold on to the principle of God more than anything. And in His time, He will surely, show Himself to you. I love you guys so much. And thank you so much. I hope that you get to share this video with other people. And I'll see you guys on another one. Thank you guys. Bye.